Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
Why am I always second?
Alphabetical?
That's not alphabetical by last name, maybe.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you... Okay, I mean, sure. If it's alphabetical by last name, wouldn't Josh be first?
What you're introducing...
But the fact that I'm introducing and then
Correct.
you two are... Sure, we'll say that. We'll say alphabetical.
That's how the cookie
And
crumbles.
saving the...
I don't feel very valued as a member of this podcast right now because I'm always last
You're
in the
the
introduction.
fucking feature in like every goddamn episode.
No,
So,
think about this. It's every episode, too. You know how, like,
stop being so insecure, lady.
the famous celebrities get the and Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman. It's and Brian Thornton. Huh?
There it is.
That's not how that works. That's
No-
not how.
no matter
And,
where
and
you
I
are.
don't. I don't feel in any way undervalued.
Absolutely, because he's good that way.
Right.
Listen, buckle up, because there is a lot of movie news that came out this week. Apparently, everyone was like, oh, we have a trailer. Should we just release it? We'll just release the trailer. We don't care about That Kind of Nerd right now talking about anything else other than trailers. So it's time to go screen.
There's like 3 trailers, bro.
There were more, but we.
There's like, oh my god, there's so many trailers.
Listen,
3 is too
There
much.
are so many trailers, and we only picked the good ones. That's what happened.
Well, yeah, we only talk about good stuff,
I know.
except for shit like the Pop Theater.
So, by the way, Pop Theater, just as your weekly call out, your product is still shit. See you on Instagram. All right, so let's go screen to screen, and let's talk about some of the news that's happening right now in movies and TV. And I want to start off with, this was just the headline alone made me happy. Even The Rock can't take on Avengers, and Rampage has gotten a new release date. So for those of you playing the home game, Avengers Infinity War went from May 4th to April 27th, to then which the rest of the movie industry goes, no, that's not good. Disney, you changed the rules. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's new movie Rampage is moving from April 20th to April 13th.
No, they're only going to get 1 week out of that movie, so might as well not have it
right?
distracted with Avengers.
I'm happy about that too. I don't know.
I kind of want to see it, so the sooner I get to see it, the better.
That's the opinion I'll take as well. Does that mean they have confidence in the movie? They're like, we're willing to mess up the marketing we have now. Are they really just going? We only have a week, so let's at least just make the most of it.
No, they gave themselves more time by pushing it up. At least they get, between April 13th and 27th, that's 2 weeks. They at least get 2 weeks of solid box office performance before Avengers hits and ruins their lives.
I bet you Black Panther is still probably going to do just as good as this movie on its opening weekend. I think that movie is now
at that point. Black Panther will be 8 or 9 weeks old.
Yeah, but it got another $100 million this week.
Yeah, I'm well aware. It's still number one on box office.
The tail's not that long.
All right, well, let's...
9 weeks. Listen, Black Panther's doing very well, and I love the movie very much.
Oh, yeah.
But 9 weeks is pushing it. Like, it can't be number one for 9 weeks.
That's Titanic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. All right. No, right on. All right. My dumb compliment rescinded. All right, so now let's talk about some of these trailers that came out. And for those of you who haven't seen them all, if you go into our show notes on your podcast player, you can actually go ahead and watch them so that we kind of know what we're talking about. So let's start it off right. There are 2 Disney trailers that dropped this week. One of them is Christopher Robin, a live-action Winnie the Pooh movie.
Yes. Who is not excited for this movie?
I watched the trailer. I have to watch it again. It like the moment where he turns around to Pooh speaking to him on the bench. My heart leapt. It was very, very weird. How I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, they're gonna tell the story of Christopher Robin as a grown up, and maybe he'll be telling his kids some stories. Like that's how I figured it was gonna go.
Right.
He's behind him, and I just got very joyful.
Listen, I already know how this movie is going to play out, but I'm still excited. This is going to be fantastical. My sister and my mother are huge Winnie the Pooh fans. I grew up watching this stuff constantly. So the moment I saw this trailer, I texted it to 4 people. You guys, my best friend Melissa, my sister, and my mother. And I was like, watch this right now. and they all have the same reaction. It's all like, "Oh my god, my childhood is speaking to me," because it's the same guy. The same guy. He's still alive, by the way, and I'm not upset by that at all. But it was the same freaking person, and I'm like, "Oh, I need to see this movie."
It was a really, really, really good trailer. It really was.
it did a and I'm not a big Winnie the Pooh guy, only just because I never got exposed to it as a family because of my MK Ultra background training. Winnie the Pooh is not put into there. But it looks fantastic, and I'm actually very excited about it. And this goes into that camp of, okay, Disney redoing their properties as live action movies, and some of them are hits and misses. This one is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge hit.
It's not even a redo, though. It's a
continuation.
Just taking, but just like Maleficent wasn't really it was a new story. You know what I mean? They're just taking their properties.
I get you. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think for me the thing about Winnie the Pooh was always it was this cartoon for really little kids, but the comedic timing was perfect. Yeah. Now, I didn't watch Winnie the Pooh as a kid. I didn't watch it until I had kids, and it was the first like non-raunchy but good timing type cartoon I'd ever seen. And like all everything is aimed that way now, but even kids shows are loaded with innuendo, and this isn't. It's just perfectly written.
The cast also looks fantastic. I mean,
you got Obi-Wan Kenobi as Christopher Robin,
and you got Doctor Who as the Rabbit.
I saw that, and Baron Zemo as Owl. Not Baron Zemo.
And you also have the director of World War Z. I mean, odd, but that's a true fact.
No, this totally makes sense. This would be awesome if Pooh Bear and Christopher Robin have to fight a zombie apocalypse with Brad Pitt.
It all starts with Tigger.
I need that crossover movie right now. That would be amazing.
If
Christopher Robin actually is Obi-Wan Kenobi and breaks out a lightsaber to fight the zombie apocalypse with Winnie the Pooh.
It's a Disney movie. I mean,
my brain just went exploding.
Anything can happen, except for all of what you just said.
I know that's not what's going to happen, but still.
All right, so then moving on to more Disney movies. So this is the second trailer, which was Mary Poppins Returns.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the yes.
Yeah, like this is fantastic. Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. I've been on board since the beginning. Just even more on board. I'm very happy with it. Very happy.
After the 3 seconds you got to see her, you're totally more on board.
Yeah, there've been pictures and absolutely. There've been pictures of her in costume. She's doing press junkets. Yes, Mary Poppins.
She does do press junkets. That's what an actress does.
Couple glimpses of Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yep. Yes.
Probably going to do a better accent than Dick Van Dyke. I mean, not
kids flying
hard
a
to
kite.
top it.
There's a kid flying a kite.
Yep.
There's
the highest heights,
image in the mirror, not looking away. Like just everything. Give me all of this.
No, I'm excited. I'm just poking fun of you guys.
That's okay. Do we have a release date for this?
For Mary Poppins?
Yes.
Well,
Christmas.
Christmas.
Since you decided to skip the release date for Christopher Robin.
Oh, I'm sorry. When is the release date for Christopher Robin?
Probably say that's August 3rd.
So Christopher Robin's in August. Mary Poppins Returns on Christmas.
Christmas Day, exactly.
Woo! That's going to be my Christmas movie. It's totally happening. I'm excited now. Then you know what though? Since we're talking about Christmas and we're talking about movies, let's talk about the movie that I grumbled about last time, and now I have to kind of rescind everything, and that's The Grinch from the studio of Illumination. The people who brought you the Minions are now bringing you Benedict Cumberbatch as The Grinch. This was a teaser. I mean, didn't really. It teased. It did its thing.
It's 2 minutes long, CJ.
Yeah, but like 30 seconds of it is the Minion yelling Illumination.
No, it's an official trailer. It even says in the show notes, official trailer. Just sure. FYI.
Okay.
Not teaser. See how Mary Poppins says official teaser trailer? This just says official trailer.
Thank you for telling the listeners I can't read. I appreciate that.
But more importantly, this looks like a lot of fun, and I'm all on board for this. I've been on board for this.
Okay.
Computer animation makes more sense for this movie as much,
Absolutely.
I do not like the Jim Carrey makeup bullcrap.
I agree. I love Jim Carrey, not that.
It looks like it's not just, the Grinch is just an asshole on Christmas Day. He's an asshole all the time.
365, bruh.
He's purposely putting things on the highest shelves. He's eating other people's foods out of their grocery baskets. I mean, come on. He's always a Grinch. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be interesting and good, and we'll have tough competition with Mary Poppins. But other than that,
at the time
I'm
that
excited.
we're recording this trailer is #1 trending on YouTube. It's got like 2.3 million views. It's getting a lot of buzz. Listen, I'm a big fan of Benedict Slapback.
Because Marvel hasn't released the new Avengers trailer yet.
Very true. Josh, what about you? You've been very quiet. I know you have an emotional attachment to the Grinch, as we talked about when this was announced. How do you feel now that you've seen something from it?
I love it. I can't wait for it. It looks fantastic. I'm a little upset it's not Darius Rucker singing the Grinch song, but I'll get over it. I'm big. Benedict Cumberbatch he's gonna do a good job. This looks exactly like what I wanted to see.
All right, and then now moving away from Disney, we're going over to Netflix and
Grinch wasn't Disney.
Oh, that's right. So
It was Illumination.
moving away from kids' movies, now moving into the land of. I
don't think Mary Poppins is a kids movie.
I would classify.
I would
it as a family
classify
movie.
that as a kids movie.
It's for me. It's for me.
But it's for your kid at heart.
I'm not a
let
kid.
me say this: would they show Mary Poppins in a theater with a jungle gym?
No.
Yes, they would.
She
feel
would
like the
not.
only
She would
movie-
not approve of the
Don't
jungle
spit
gym.
on my cupcake
No.
and tell me it's frosting.
She
they
would not
She would not.
approve of the jungle. She'd be saying spit spot and singing a song, and there'd be kids marching on.
Making everybody take cough medicine and shit.
Yeah.
So Netflix has dropped a full-length trailer now, an official trailer. I can read this one, Brian.
Yeah, I
for
see
their
that.
new original series, Lost in Space. I will let you know, Matt LeBlanc is nowhere near this.
He was not bad in that movie. Why are you already trashing the 96 film?
Because it was the 96 film. It wasn't very good.
It was not that bad.
So this looks really interesting. This definitely has our favorite words in all of the movie industry, dark and gritty feel to it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna watch this like right away, or I'm gonna have to wait for like the two of you to tell me to like, oh yeah, it's really good. But I feel pretty good about this.
This is what the Swiss Family Robinson or something.
Swiss Family Robinson in space. Yes.
Yes.
Hard pass.
Really? Hard pass?
Easily.
Hard pass on this?
Easily. Like I don't even need to think about that. Hard pass by.
Well, all right.
I'm all about it. I like sci-fi. I actually enjoyed the William Hurt Matt LeBlanc film, believe it or not. I watched some of the old 1950s, 60s show. I'm on board. I'm looking forward to this.
So Netflix though has a great marketing machine for this. If your name is Will Robinson and you're on Twitter, prepare to get spammed because they are sending people the tweet "Danger, Will Robinson, danger" to anyone who has their name Will Robinson on Twitter. And people have been saying that they've been waiting their whole Twitter life for this moment.
It makes me sad that my name isn't in some sort of cool movie.
Just
or TV
go
show.
change it on Twitter, man. They don't verify this shit. Just go change it.
I don't know how to use my Twitter as it is. You
That's
want me to
true.
start changing account
Brian,
info?
If you go to the show notes, Brian's Twitter handle is in the show notes.
It's
Brian's
empty.
got like 6 tweets. If
Really?
we're
I've
lucky.
actually tweeted something?
You have tweeted stuff. I don't know what it
Really?
is, and I'm not gonna look because
I don't know. I feel like that those twits might have been a while back.
those twits,
Yeah.
those twits would have been a
Twits.
while back. Yep, absolutely. Problems with you. All right, and now
With me, seriously?
now there's 2 things that I also
Out
found
of the
it-
3 of us, I'm the one who has
Yeah, that's
problems.
Now, there's 2 things in the world of television that came across my radar that I definitely wanted to bring to everyone's attention. The first one is, listen, that Dexter poster that you've probably seen online, it's not real. It's not happening. There is no season of Dexter coming to Netflix just one more time. No, you just have to deal with that shitty finale and let that be your life. It's not coming back.
The only reason anyone would have seen that online is because you posted it trying to chase down whether it was real or not. Like,
No,
I this would never have crossed my radar.
I had people text this to me and go, "Is this real?" And I was like, "All right, now I have to actually look. Like now I have to go and do research." And
Who do you know that wants more Dexter? is
Nobody.
my question.
there were people. I was very
Because
surprised.
it was past tense a great show.
Correct.
Until
The last season.
until
Five?
the second.
6?
I would say I would say the second to last season.
Wasn't 6 where they introed Julia Stiles? Like that season was okay.
I don't remember. It was so long.
Oh, not Julia Stiles. Not Julia Stiles. Sorry. Sarah from Chuck. Like,
Yvonne Shavosky.
thank you.
I haven't seen it in a while, and the Pep Boys that I frequent wasn't playing it in their waiting room this time around. I'm not joking. I went to get an oil change, and they were playing Dexter
That's great.
With
on
children in there?
Netflix. It's a Pep Boys. I'm sure there were children coming around, and I was like, this is completely inappropriate. You have Dexter playing above like the wooden block playing, like the thing with like the wooden dowels that you just move and there's no purpose behind
the
them, but
kids'
kids
toy.
love
Gotcha.
them for some
Yes,
reason.
my daughters love
It's
those
literally
things.
right above there, and
Yeah.
like there's all sorts of nudity and death and dismemberment, and I'm like, I feel uncomfortable waiting for my oil change.
So
See,
you
Brian-
just tried to find the square peg and put it in the round hole for
yeah,
me.
I was just trying. I
I
was
am
just playing with those
trying
little
to-
moving wooden blocks.
I'm
you know?
trying to solve this maze. Could they please stop? All right, highlights is not going to solve itself.
Goofus and
joking.
Gallant need my help.
True story. It was very unsettling.
Brian, that's a moment where you could probably get on Twitter and be like, "Hey, at Pep Boys, WTF, mate?" And
With
see
a
what they do.
picture of Dexter and the bloodiness in
Why
their
would I
right
go
underneath
up
the
their
kids'
spot? They
No,
they
no,
just
no, no,
wanna
no.
see some
Try
death
to
and
get some.
dismemberment.
Try to
Dude,
get.
there's none of them are in the waiting room. They're all in
right.
the garage.
I don't even know why. Like, who is watching it? They're all working on my car in the back.
Right.
What is wrong with you people?
That's actually very funny. And like I'm willing to accept a bit of my barbershop sometimes has some inappropriate shit on Netflix or TV or, you know, on the whatever, the Sirius radio, whatever. And I just sort of let it be because it's the barbershop and it's a bunch of dudes sitting around and it's a coming of age thing. So I don't complain.
Right.
But like, my barbershop doesn't have the doctor's office dowel toys. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
yeah, they're also not telling you, please have your children wait with you. It's
Yeah,
literally
they're
an
not-
environment
they're not
goes,
creating-
Just let the kid just come back later with the kid.
they're not trying to create a family-friendly customer environment. They're a barbershop trying to be a barbershop.
That's where we live
And it
in.
wasn't even like a tame
We're still on
season.
this. Okay.
It was season 2 where he's like banging the like addict like regularly.
Oh, she was crazy as shit, too.
The crazy one.
Yeah.
In fact, the surprise motherfucker episode played while I was waiting.
No shit.
And I was like, all right, yeah, surprise. There's Dexter in this waiting room. Okay.
right.
It's very confusing.
That is more Dexter than I thought we were going to get out of this topic. I'm
I'm actually
pleasantly
glad this
surprised.
was a topic because
I'm
I got to
glad-
share that story.
You know what was funny about that, Brian? You said no to this topic.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, fuck it.
All right.
What does Brian from 2 days ago know? Psh, that guy.
Now, let's talk about some TV news that is true that you probably thought wasn't true. And that is, Josh, I don't know how you're going to watch this series at all because I know Laura's got rules. The Sopranos is coming back for a prequel film, and it's confirmed by David Chase. It's called The Many Saints of Newark. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this because I know we asked a couple people that we know what they thought about it, but
Hey, can we get my thoughts first?
oh, sure, absolutely, Brian.
I don't care. I don't watch this.
Okay, great. Let's move on to Josh.
Oh, that was such a Josh moment.
Hold on. For those of you who don't know Josh's history with The Sopranos, anytime the man watches this series, right, I believe you start to have violent dreams where you punch things and cuss and basically have like a nightmare.
No, there was there's like a few days where I was sick. I was laid up. I don't remember what it was, but I watched 4 seasons inside of 2.5 days ish. And these are 13 episode seasons, an hour long. Like I was not sleeping much and I was doing nothing but watching The Sopranos. And apparently I was beating my pillow senseless in the middle of the night. And Laura's, her reaction was maybe less with The Sopranos. And she loves The Sopranos.
Right.
We
Just
watched together,
maybe-
originally.
Sure.
But this is a show I have watched almost as many times as I have watched The West Wing.
Wow.
It is my favorite of all bingeable shows. In my opinion, it was the original bingeable show.
Absolutely.
It's the show that kicked off HBO's dominance in this genre.
I would say even just the dominance of this genre of an hour.
And you might be right. The sort of the methodology behind how Netflix shapes their shows, you can see it.
Yeah.
In The Sopranos.
So
and it's brilliant. However, I don't know that I want to watch a show about Johnny Boy and Junior Soprano and sort of their crews, because it's just like, I don't want it to fuck up anything for me. I don't want it to change anything. I don't want it to mess with like
the canon of.
And man,
Tony Soprano.
I mean, I know this shit front to back. I can tell you about all the characters. I know all of their shit. I'm kind of like, you announce the show in your radio announcer voice, and that's a problem because it's the Many Saints of Newark.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize for being proper and not, just being this guy.
I don't have an accent. There's no craziness, but you can't say Newark. It's Newark.
Gotcha.
You just have to say it that way.
As we've learned, I am not capable of pronouncing things correctly, like Brian Roman and Brian Thornton.
Yeah, but you said Brian with an I twice.
Oh, okay.
So you did it 2 times.
So, let me read this right. So, as long as they execute this properly, like what's the requirement for them to not fuck up?
I need them to sort of stop at the carnival where he gets arrested and Janice is there and Tony sees him. Like, that should be the end. Gotcha. Right?
I don't want that the reality is shattered, right? And it becomes
that's where I want it to stop. Like, I if you want to give me a story about these crews, I mean, and they had New York affiliations the whole time. So if you want to give me the backstories of these crews, I'm totally okay with that. But you really, really, really can't fuck with the development of Anthony Soprano and that crew. I don't want to see, like, you want to throw Dickie Moltisanti in there, fine, but you can't throw his murder in there.
Right. You put that in The Sopranos, right?
Right. It needs to be a complete prequel, like separate.
Right.
Totally separate.
Try not, and name the two shall mix.
Yes, ne'er the twain shall meet. Thank you, CJ.
Well, I mean, it is just a film, so it's like a 2.5 hour thing. How much do you really think they're going to do?
I don't know.
Covered.
Man.
I mean, you can cover time pretty quickly in 2 hours,
especially if you do it in
Goodfellas and stuff
if
like
you do it in vignettes. You can cover a lot of time.
I mean, it's been since 2007 that the show has been off the air. It's never lost its following. Just like you said, you're absolutely right, Josh. It is completely bingeable. That's how I actually watched it on your advice. I binged that show like crazy. I mean, I just devoured it. So I'm interested. I would like to see this. Because I didn't watch it when it was on the air, when it was new, when it was the biggest thing. I'm not as attached to the project as you are, so that's why I wanted to hear your opinion. A couple other people said the same thing. Please just the message is, please just don't be shitty, and please just do right by the source material. So I've got hope. I'm curious to see what they're going to do.
And for folks new to, or newer at least, to HBO and the shows, folks that sort of Game of Thrones, Allegiant, things like that this show did not have the benefit of social media.
Yeah.
Had it had that benefit, it would have been an absolute shitstorm. Like, there was the anticipation for every Sunday was 2x, 3x what Game of Thrones has.
The only thing of going completely viral, right, that show had was its finale and the way that they handled that. I remember everybody talked about the way that show ended. And that was and for a while that was a legacy and a black eye on the show itself until people just kind of got it. Until people just accepted it. All right. The next section that I have here, we're going to be super brief with this. We are aware we're not living in a bubble that the Oscars happened last week. And listen,
woo, a lot of people won awards for things that probably weren't that great.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't see the movies that they said that they saw. They're like, oh yeah, you should go see The Shape of Water. It was great. You didn't see The Shape of Water. Shut up. But
I totally did. There was water, and it was in shape of stuff, and the lady has sex with a fish.
I am going to put in. There's a fantastic thing from Screen Junkies. It was the Oscars 2018, kind of in a nutshell, before they actually gave out the awards. Highly recommend watching that, especially when they talk about the fish banning movie and how it's only going to be known as the fish banning movie. But there were two little highlights that
Are we talking about like mermaids here, or
No, you remember Hellboy?
Like Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
But with more gills.
oh, gotcha. So fish bangers.
That's actually a new show on Discovery Channel. Fish Bangers.
You know them. You love them. They are the fish banners.
You can only find
From the
it
producers
on
of
the
Deadliest
Discovery
Catch.
Channel and the dark web. There's only 2 places where you can locate that show.
There's a whole lot of hope with Fish Bangers. I'm just saying.
So, two things from the Oscars that were just weird and obscure. I thought we just had to talk about them. Number one, someone actually won a jet ski for giving the shortest Oscar speech.
Didn't Helen Mirren present the
Yes, she
award?
did. She
Yes, it was
presented it,
very
and it was
Price is
on
Right.
it at the end. Did it come with Helen Mirren? I mean, I'd be down for that.
Who won that?
The Mark
Was it-
Bridges, who is the costume designer for Phantom Thread, he gave a speech lasting 30 seconds flat. And what I liked about this was this: Jimmy Kimmel brought up the fact that once they actually televised the Oscars, because for a while it wasn't even televised. The first one was under an hour, and now it's like a 3-hour long event. No one likes it. They're like, listen, the one thing we can control
Everybody hates it.
your speeches. And he's just make him small. And I gotta stopwatch here. And here's a jet ski. And if you do it,
I mean, he was very cool about it. He was just like, "Hey, we want you to come up. We want you to talk about things and
Yeah.
organizations, stuff that you're involved in. We get it, but people tend to tune out. So here's
Nobody
the incentive."
gives a
He was like,
shit
instead of
about the
thinking-
shit that rich people do.
He said, like, instead of thanking your mom, right? Why not take your mom out on a jet ski? Right? My only thing was, couldn't everybody in that room who's nominated for a tiny statue and then the person who wins tiny statue afford their own jet ski? But whatever. But it happened. Mark Bridges, the costume designer for Phantom Thread, 30 seconds.
Well,
he won
what
a
they're
jet
not
ski.
telling you is that they still have to pay all the taxes on that jet ski.
I'm sure they can afford
Not if Jimmy Kimmel bought it for them.
That's true. I don't know if Jimmy Kimmel bought it.
I thought that's what I read about it, was that Jimmy Kimmel offered it up personally,
Oh, I didn't read that.
and then a trip someplace
Good guy.
to follow.
Yes. There was a
Interesting.
trip to follow.
What I liked most about his opening monologue was when because right before he did the jet ski bit, he was talking about, hey, we got a lot of really great movies nominated for Best Picture, all who lost at the box office to Black Panther this weekend.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I thought that
I
was
remember
funny.
that from all of the show that I didn't watch at all.
I just watched the opening monologue
I
and went
was-
on with my life.
I was editing our podcast episode that premiered the day after. So I'm in I'm in a closet editing the show, and I had the door open and be like, let me know if anyone I like wins. And then, that was the end of that. But there was one other aspect of this that I did want to cover, and it's a little weird. It happens every single year. The Oscars in memoriam section happens, and usually someone gets snubbed. There's just someone's missing. But for me, I thought it was odd. This year, Adam West was not in it at
He's
all.
not a movie actor.
But he's been in movies.
That
I
shouldn't.
get that, but
that
that's not what
shouldn't
he's
matter.
known for.
That
But
shouldn't.
they've had
matter.
musicians in there that have had
Yeah.
one-liners.
They
and stuff
put
like
people that nobody
Alright.
ever sees ever. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me that
Well, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying maybe that's why.
Adam West is one of those guys that you can actually associate the word icon. You can put it on there. And there are very few people, and whether you want to describe someone as iconic or not, like there are very few people that would get that nod. And I do believe Adam West is that guy. Beyond Batman, his shit was pretty transcendent. Like just the humor and the comedy and the just general good dudeness with which he approached.
Yeah.
He just came at everybody like a good dude in Hollywood forever.
I had the pleasure of meeting him once, and yes, the good dudeness was there.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the snub. I'm not going to freak out about it, right? But he should have been mentioned.
It was the
That's
same thing
all.
with like David Cassidy also wasn't in there. So I mean, there were other people besides Adam West, but it was just odd. I thought that, I don't know. I thought Hollywood had turned around on him a little bit to like, hey, we actually do appreciate the whole career and not just this one section of the man's life. I don't know. I just thought it was odd. it's, I don't know.
Anyway, did you also see that Mark Hamill got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
I did see that Mark Hamill finally got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
He said it's the most speechless he's been since Force Awakens. It's an actual quote.
God damn, I love Mark Hamill. Oh man, no, good for him. It's definitely a long time coming. He was flanked by stormtroopers during the ceremony. I thought it was great, and I think George Lucas showed up as well.
George Lucas and Harrison Ford showed up.
Oh, good man. You know what? How did Harrison Ford? What did he say? Did he make a speech?
I'm not Ralph Garman. What do you want from me?
Like,
The Pediment Man.
off my plane. All right, now that we're done with that, let's take a look at the world of comics, how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how it's affecting Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk.
So Kristen Ritter, who is the star of Jessica Jones, and yes, we are aware that Jessica Jones season 2 just came out. We will talk about it next week. We will have a little bit of a spoiler cast, so you've got some time to watch it. Said that The Defenders is finished just after one season. I mean, we weren't that. I mean, we liked The Defenders, but we weren't over the moon with it like we were some of the other series. So, Brian, what do you think about the fact that she's kind of saying, "Hey, I'd be up for it," but Netflix says no?
I don't believe her. First off, secondly, I don't think she knows. I don't think any actor is privy to what the overall plan for some of this stuff is. Not knocking Kristen Ritter. I like her. I think she's a wonderful actress. I think she's great as Jessica Jones. But this is just this is her doing her press junket for Jessica Jones. And B, this is just like whenever any actor says, oh, well, like when Chris Hemsworth was like, well, I'm done with Thor after this. That just means no one called you and offered you money to do another Thor. That's exactly what this is, hey, Kristen Ritter hasn't gotten a call to do Defender Season 2 yet. That doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means she doesn't know about it. She knows as much as we do. That's my rant. I don't care. I will believe it when Joe Quesada, who has been the mastermind of the Netflix shows here, comes out and says, yeah, you know what? We're not doing Defenders 2. Josh?
I agree with Brian. And if anyone is kept in the dark, Kristen Ritter's probably that person.
No. It's definitely Finn Jones.
And
because they don't even want an Iron Fist 2. They're just doing it because they have to.
Here's like anybody saying unilaterally, this is not happening is dumb. Because frankly, if the testing comes back and they say, based on everything we've done, Defender Season 2 probably drives X revenue or does this for us, then they're going to do it, even if it's bad.
Right.
And you're talking about something that's 2 or maybe even 3 years down the line. They haven't even drawn up the contracts yet to get these people signed on for those.
Can we get Daredevil Season 3, please?
In 2019/2020, you will.
Let me get that. And then
we'll take it from there.
This year, you're getting Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Next year, you'll probably get Iron Fist. Hopefully Daredevil Season 3. So you're talking at least 2 years down the line before Defenders 2 would happen. It's way too early to be saying shit like this.
And I agree with all of you and have no original thought of my own. And now that's
Congratulations.
on tape.
Let's move on to the other piece of Cape Talk that I hate.
Well, with a segment like that, Brian, why don't you tell us what's going on?
They cast the villain for the Wonder Woman sequel.
I already hear Josh snoring, by the way. I don't know if you can hear it too.
I love this. This is fantastic.
It is a very well-known villain. It is probably one of her biggest villains. It is Cheetah. And they cast Kristen Wiig.
Oh, your downfall. Here's why I love this. Kristen Wiig is so fucking bad at everything she does.
That's why I hate this. I don't like her.
This is a historically bad decision.
So Josh is okay with this because it just means, hey, everyone talked about how great Wonder Woman was.
No. Here's what I think it means.
Sure.
They couldn't get anyone serious enough to sign on. So they had to go to fucking Kristen Wiig.
I thought this started off as a fan idea, and then someone's like, they should totally cast Kristen Wiig. And then here we are in reality.
Nobody, like, the same number of people want to see Kristen Wiig as want to see Amy Schumer. That's Kristen Wiig.
It's a terrible fucking choice, a terrible cast. It's Everything is wrong with this.
Is there a possibility? Could Marvel buy DC and just do these movies?
You're going to take the one good thing about the DC extended universe now, and you're going to ruin it by casting a mediocre actor as a pivotal villain role.
She's not
And
mediocre.
you know what?
You're
She is
you're
absolutely-
actually giving you're giving mediocre people a bad name.
Okay, fine. I don't like her. I
No,
know
she's-
there are people who do.
No, nobody likes her.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. So know that this is not how I feel. I want to be the third voice.
Go ahead, CJ. Try to piss me off more.
Remember when they were casting a DC movie and they were casting The Dark Knight and they were picking the Joker and they said, "Oh, it's the guy from A Knight's Tale," and they were like, "I could never let an Australian guy from The Knight's Tale
Blah,
be the
blah,
Joker."
blah, blah. I've heard
I'm
this all
just
before.
saying. I'm just saying that is another side to this argument.
Are you saying that Kristen Wiig is Heath Ledger or Robert Downey Jr.?
No. That is
No,
not,
by
these are
playing
not
by playing dumbass fucking devil's advocate.
These are not the thoughts and feelings of CJ Mellon. This is
but
just
your
the other side of the argument.
example put her on par with Heath Ledger and Robert Downey Jr.
At the time, Heath Ledger was just the guy from The Knight's Tale. That's all he was. That's all he was.
Ted- Things I hate about you.
Okay, and if that was all he had ever done, and we compare that to Kristen Wiig's entire body of work, would we be celebrating Kristen Wiig or Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger. I
Right.
hear you. I agree.
Right.
I'm just
But
saying.
that wasn't all he had done. You're completely dismissing 10 things I hate about you, which was adorable.
I understand.
Listen, it has nothing like you. Blah blah blah. You want to draw this parallel? Here is the difference.
No, I don't. I'm just expressing the views of other people yelling in the dark.
You drew the parallel.
You did. First off. Secondly, you are the voice of the people, apparently.
No,
now.
no, I'm not.
No, shut your whore mouth. And everybody's going to try to draw this parallel with me when they listen to this episode and say, why does Brian hate Kristen Wiig so much? So here's the difference. The difference is this. I hope I am wrong. I really do, because I enjoy the first Wonder Woman movie, and I think Patty Jenkins is a smart and really good director, and she's the one who had the final say in this. I hope I am wrong. But given not just DC's track record, but Kristen Wiig's track record, she is not even that good in the things she is supposed to be good in. The things that she is supposed to be really good at are comedy, and I don't find her funny. I didn't think MacGruber was any good.
Nope.
I don't think she was good on SNL.
Nope.
I have no desire to see Bridesmaids, and Ghostbusters was a freaking train wreck.
I agree.
So at the end of the day, she is not good. You, the people who want to draw this parallel. Heath Ledger, whose biggest roles were Knight's Tale and 10 Things I Hate About You, but he had done plenty beforehand.
Sure.
And plenty of dramatic roles. Kristen Wiig has not shown any sort of range outside of comedy. And when she is supposed to be this straight person in a comedic movie like Ghostbusters, she failed miserably. Now we're asking her to not just be a straight dramatic actor, but to actually have an action role and to be a antithesis to a strong female character and a fine actress next to Gal Gadot. She cannot hold her own against Gal Gadot. I don't care.
I agree.
This is a terrible choice, and I will ask anybody to try to prove me wrong, because you can't.
I thought I was the biggest Kristen Wiig hater on the planet before this conversation. And look, he's
No, it's
absolutely
true.
right. To the degree, like, she can't even do animation. She was rough nut in How to Train Your Dragon. She can't even do animation.
Yeah, can't do voiceover.
Where they're just placing her where she's supposed to be. They're getting the timing exactly right. She just can't deliver ever. She's just awful.
Well.
And look, I really like Wonder Woman as a character, and I loved Wonder Woman in Batman vs Superman. I didn't like that movie, and I'm on record a bunch of times saying that. It doesn't matter, and I still watch it. I watch it knowing I don't like it, but I watch it anyway because it fits in the timeline, and that's how I watch things sequentially.
Right.
This, like,
Well-
I don't want it to fail. I don't want the movie to fail, but like, what I want is an awakening, and it's this kind of bad decision that precipitates an awakening. No,
Surprise! DC made bad decisions about a movie. So, as we know, I obviously love to go on the internet. I like to find the weird. I like to find the obscure, and then I ask for a tech perspective. This week there were two things that came every week. I just can't get.
You should have done the Super Mario thing.
Now I gotta pay for that. Don't. They'll take us down. Hey, all right. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now on your iPhone or your Android device, if you are a Google Maps user, and if you're not, just like do this for like 10 minutes, okay? Your car can be Mario on the Google Maps app. You just go ahead and make sure they have the most up-to-date version of Google Maps. You load in your route, and right before you press start, you'll see a little yellow box with a question mark in it. It's the mystery box. You press that, instead of the little arrow, you are now Mario in a Mario Kart. You're welcome, Internet.
You know what I just learned is that CJ is a route guy, not a route guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take the shortest possible route.
He also says data instead of data.
No, it kind of changes depending on.
It really
That's-
depends on the context.
It does.
I don't think it does. I think
Like
that's dumb.
I've collected a ton of data with schematics.
I like Data from Star Trek because he always has a lot of data in his brain.
No, see,
No, that's wrong.
No, that's
That's
wrong.
wrong.
Data.
I mean, Data from Star Trek is Data because that's what they call him. But I mean, I guess I
Unlimited,
word.
but I have unlimited data.
Oh no.
No, I
unlimited
see data
data
there too.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
so
for
that
later.
And your routes and the routes.
Anyway,
So yay, be Mario.
yes.
But let's get to the main story that Brian really wants to talk about. Super
Yes, let's
Smash
do that.
Brothers was announced for the Nintendo Switch. I say skeptically because
Why do you say that skeptically?
Because some people are worried that it's a port from the Wii U to the Switch.
Yes. That's
So,
what,
clarify-
that is
Ryan,
the word.
yes.
Give me the background as to what was announced and just why people are freaking out right now about what's happening.
People are freaking out because it's freaking Super Smash Brothers. And I don't know if you've ever played Super Smash Brothers, but you can be Mario, and you can fight Zelda, and you can fight Star Fox, and a 4-man free-for-all, sometimes 8, depending on how many friends you have. I only have 4. Anyway, it is amazing. It is a lot of fun, and I've skipped college classes for it. And that's a true story.
Now, here's my question then. Why are people worried that this isn't going to be a full-blown new game? Why wouldn't Nintendo make a new game?
I mean, it's the Switch has been doing a lot of ports over from the Wii U because let's face it, as much as I do enjoy my Wii U, it was a failure, and
Yep.
not a ton of people have actually played the games. So they've been doing a lot of ports. They ported like Bayonetta. They ported. I mean, technically, Splatoon, quote unquote,
And
2
the problem,
is a port.
The problem with the Wii U wasn't that the games weren't good. It's that the controls were awful.
Yeah, the system was not good.
No, not
So-
but the games were actually very good. So
which is
ports
why
are-
they've been just
ports
pretty
are
much
fine.
re-outfitting them for the Switch. And people are worried that it's just going to be the Wii U version, just with a couple of maybe extra characters, like they did with Mario Kart 8. And
which should be fine for Switch users.
I don't care. I just give me Super Smash Brothers. Give me
Right,
as much Super
right.
Smash Brothers as possible.
Right.
I want to own. Listen, no one can beat me at this game except for that one kid that I was college roommates with, and that sucks. But anyway,
Challenge accepted, sir.
you and me,
Oh, I'm awful at Super Smash Bros.
I will
Great
ruin
at
your
Super
day.
Smash Bros.
because it just seems like a game for button mashers.
it's not. It's not
No.
if you do it right.
Absolutely.
It's CJ.
We'll throw down the gauntlet later. So,
I'll ruin
in
you.
your opinion, do you think they're going to do a port from the Wii U, or is this going to be a brand new Super Smash Brothers game?
From the launch trailer, it doesn't look like it. It really doesn't. I don't think
Doesn't
it
look like
is.
what?
It doesn't look like a port.
Okay, good.
When was the last sort of big name exclusive Switch game by Nintendo?
Super Mario Odyssey in
Breath
October.
of the Wild.
No, Super Mario Odyssey in October. Breath of the
wasn't it
Wild came
after?
out.
Oh, okay.
October.
I thought it was. Okay.
All right, I mean, so we're talking about almost 6 months at this point.
It's time. It's time for a
It
big
is
game.
time, so it probably is a new game.
And it's coming out this year. This year, people. Not only will I slap CJ in the face physically, but I will slap him in the face via Super Smash Brothers.
Gonna take any opportunity to bring up the fact you're gonna slap me this year.
I can't
I
freaking
cannot wait. Like I'm actually considering flying a photographer.
You know what we need to do? We need to rent a Phantom and get it in slow mo. Just
No, he's got the sickest cameras. Yeah, I got a buddy lives in Boston. I'm thinking I might fly him in.
well, You know what, Josh? If people want to help fly that guy into Boston, they go to patreon.com/thatkindofnerd. Give to our fund to go ahead and make sure that we have a good night out, a little soiree for the night of me getting slapped in the face due to Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Indeed. You're going to need that booze.
You know it. So since we're nearing our 150th episode in just a few weeks, we thought we'd take the time for some of the new listeners and some of you who are not so new just to get to know us a little bit better. So I came across a tweet online that we just had to instantly grab, but also expand on and just kind of make it a little better. And it was two. One of them is, name 5 movies that a potential significant other needs to watch in order to know what kind of person you are. To which Josh said, yes, great topic. Also, add albums to that. So what albums would they need to listen to know what kind of person you are? So I figured we would take it from the movies first, and then we'll hit the albums. I'd love to hear, Josh, where you started off with this list.
All right. So like anything else, if I'm trying to get to know somebody, the thing that I try to convey is, when I watch these things, I didn't know how to feel. Like, I was so filled with emotion, I didn't know how to feel. So I will preface everything by saying, when I saw these movies, I was so filled with emotion, I didn't know how to feel. Starting with The Breakfast Club, I always sort of aligned with the John Bender character. That's kind of who I was, but it was really about people coming together, and that's sort of a common theme. Stand By Me, I'm not sure there's a better story about coming of age and loyalty among friends. The story of us, I have now been with my wife for 20 years, and this movie that we saw together when we were kids really just continues to resonate with me. Varsity Blues, I played football my entire young life. I'm not really sure there's a better sort of story of brotherhood and teamwork and coming together and even rebelling against some bullshit than Varsity Blues. The Fast and the Furious, it really defined a good portion of my late teens and early 20s, where I was about family and this crazy close group of friends, but getting into a bit of trouble. So those are my 5.
I can attest to the fact that your several movies had that thing of friendship and family being a very strong bond, that even some of your friends are close family. And as a guy who worked for you as well as doing the show, that is 100% a personality trait that you have. So I
find it very funny that CJ did not identify himself as one of your friends, Josh.
He just does the show with he just does the show with me.
That's right.
He
I've actually
never
never met
does
Josh.
the show with me.
Never met him in person. It's only through Google Hangouts and Skype. That's how that worked.
Interesting.
For me, I had a different approach. I kind of grabbed some movies that kind of resemble a part of my personality, or just kind of really did invoke something inside of me that kind of, I don't know, gave me some emotions I didn't know I had, just kind of like you. So again, in no particular order, starts with The Mask. You know, I'm a goofy guy, so it's got to be The Mask. The Producers, that's my love of theater and comedy, just put into there. Matchstick Men, because sometimes when I'm trying to be serious, I end up being a total goofball. Baby Driver, for 2 things. Number 1, I'm a continuity asshole, and that movie does a fantastic job with putting things together. And also, I love music, and the way that movie uses music is fantastic. And then it rounded out with the movie The Spectacular Now, with Miles Teller. I don't know, that movie just for something felt like a good life lesson for me, so I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, Brian, so that was my list. I'd love to hear what you have in yours.
Well, as you all know, I am a huge fan of movies. I own many much movies, and I have seen many movies, thousands in fact. And I am very angry that you tried to pigeonhole me and put me down to 5.
I had that problem with the records. Yeah,
I had the same thing. Yeah.
So I have a list of 50, and here they go. No, this is tough because I'm kind of going through this right now. I'm now trying to figure out what movies does my girlfriend need to see before I take the next step. I can't describe what I'm going through right now, trying to think of the movies that I want her to see because I want her to be.
Oh, that's wonderful.
This is gorgeous.
Now just give us 5 and fuck yourself.
Can I include trilogies as one?
No.
Yes.
Yes. I will. Fine. Okay. Fine.
I can.
Sure.
Oh, this makes things just a little bit easier. Just a little bit easier. Okay. So the
Because
first,
you've just given me 8 Fast and Furious movies.
okay, I'm giving you all.
So
eight.
we can include the trilogies.
You don't want to do just the original trilogy, the Fast and Furious, 2 Fast and Furious, and Tokyo Drift.
Give me all. It's all family.
He
It's
gets
all
the entire
violent.
thing.
It's
Okay.
all badass. That's
Okay,
me.
all right. So
I, by the way, do not get Son of the Mask. Don't lump that in with that. It just
you don't get that.
no,
Ah.
that stays with one.
So, oh man, this is so tough. So the Star Wars trilogy, the original trilogy, is most definitely on there. If I had to pick one, it would be Episode 4, because if you watch Episode 5, you won't know what's going on. But I mean, this movie was the set of movies that introduced me to movies. It is probably why I love movies so much. I remember my father disappearing into a closet when I was 6 or 7 years old and saying, "Okay, son, you're ready to watch these movies now." And I've loved them ever since. So that is most certainly on there. The Back to the Future trilogy is definitely on there as well, just because every time I watch that movie, it's just I am Marty McFly, I feel sometimes, or maybe I'm George McFly. I don't know. Depending on the day, I'm one or the other. Depending on the day. Most of the days, I'm George McFly, but I want to be Marty.
Yeah.
And I wish I had a Doc Brown in my life who was crazy and could take me on time traveling missions. But more importantly, it's fun, it's nerdy, it's everything that is me for the most part, and it's got a freaking kick-ass soundtrack. I do need to put the Spider-Man movie. I don't want to include the entire trilogy. Can I just say 1 and 2?
It's fine. You don't have to include the entire thing. We're already bending the rules, so let's just let it happen.
So Spider-Man 2002, Sam Raimi. I think, everybody knows how important Spider-Man was to me as a child. This movie was a dream come true for me. I could watch these movies nonstop. And, I wish I could just include every single Marvel movie in that as well. But I mean, if I had to relegate myself to a couple, it would have to be the Sam Raimi trilogy of the Spider-Man movies. Inception, believe it or not, because I like to think.
Okay.
And that, by the way, is the only movie to think.
No, I mean, there's plenty of movies to think. Here's what I really like about Inception. It's not just because the story makes you think. The whole idea of the dreamscape and everything is always been really interesting to me. But more importantly, not more importantly, but it's also got a lot of technical aspects to it. It is a lot of what I love about movies in one movie. The acting.
It has my all-time favorite Tom Hardy quote.
Which one is that?
"You have to dream a bit bigger, darling."
Ah, yes.
He says to Leo
quote.
in that shady bar they were at. But,
Yeah.
I absolutely love that movie and love that quote. That's solid.
So I mean, it encompasses a lot of the technical aspects of what I like about movies and how they did that kind of stuff. That movie is the reason I watch special features, because if you watch the special features on that movie, it's so interesting. It's so cool. And last but not least, I do have The Wedding Singer, because I'm a romantic at heart.
All right.
And I like
That's
music.
fantastic. And you saying The Wedding Singer as your last movie, I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. That's like, this is how he wants his shit to unfold. This makes sense to me.
There we go. So
all right.
I had to bring it down to 5. Trust me, there are so many more.
No,
She's going through
Brian,
it right
Brian,
now.
I understand, dude. Yep.
I was willing to allow you like 20, so this is good.
Okay, all right. Well then, whew.
So the next one was 5 albums that people need to listen to. There's going to be 2 right off the bat that I know on mine I'm going to get made fun of, and I really don't give a shit. And it started off with the first one, which is X and Y by Coldplay. I know Josh prefers Rush of Blood to the Head, but I just had a better emotional connection experience.
Or Parachutes would be fun.
Yeah, to X and Y. Just it was at the formative time of my life, just kind of made me who I am.
That makes sense.
The next one is Continuum by John Mayer. It was the album I was listening to right before I met my wife. It was just kind of getting me into the headspace to actually, kind of grow up a little bit. and I just have a strong emotional connection to it. The next one, which I think is an odd choice, but the more I thought about it, I couldn't leave it off this list, and that's The Heist by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. I think it does a great job of just doing some honest, just telling honest stories and just being emotionally vulnerable and available to others, which is a trait I always try to learn. The next one, this is 3 albums in one, but I'm only picking one of the albums, so maybe I'm the one bending the rules this time. And that is the early November, The Path. The Path is part of 3 albums: The Mother, The Mechanic, and The Path. It's another one that really is like a play. It tells a whole story, and it encompasses a lot of emotions. And there's one song in there that just destroys me, brings me down to tears every single time I listen to it. The last one is Sunsets and Car Crashes by The Spill Canvas. It's one of those albums that just speaks to me in the right way. It tells a couple stories, but also has a great opportunity for you to just roll down the windows, get the music on real loud, and just kind of drive around. So it was very formative. I will, of course, be including a Apple playlist to all of these albums for all 3 of us in the show notes. So if you want to hear what we're talking about, you can have those albums. So Brian, we're going to go on to you now. You're going to be number 2 here. What are your 5 albums that your potential significant other needs to listen to know who you are? I am actually very interested to hear what you picked.
I do not identify with music nearly as much as I identify with movies. I am super sorry. So I don't really have a ton that I was just like, oh my gosh, I remember where I was listening to that song and doing that thing. There's a couple. And the only thing I can really truly remember, the only album I remember me listening to nonstop in high school, that I would say really had an impact on me is the Yellow Card. Yellow Card's first album, which I'm pretty sure was just called Yellow Card.
It was called Ocean
Avenue.
And it's on my list.
Is it really?
Well,
it certainly is.
I took it. I'm sorry, Josh. I mean, I listened to that all throughout high school. And I mean, I remember a lot of memories with an ex-girlfriend who was an ex for a reason to that album. The Beatles' Revolver would be one that, I mean, I grew up in a house with a Beatlemaniac who was playing Beatles nonstop. I think Revolver is probably my favorite. It has, most of the songs that I really enjoy by them, but I can't pick all of the Beatles albums, unfortunately. So I'll stick to that one. Another thing I did listen to in my middle school / high school days was Matchbox 20, Real World was their first album. And is that 3 right now? I'm going to put also the Billy Joel Essential album, just because Billy Joel.
It's Billy Joel, yeah.
Why the hell not? And you're all going to laugh at me, but most definitely, believe it or not, the 2002 Spider-Man soundtrack is on my list.
Was that the one that had Nickelback?
Yeah, disqualified for Nickelback.
It had Chad Kroeger, not Nickelback.
Oh,
and Hero was a great song.
I do agree that Hero is a song.
They'll say that a hero can save.
I noticed that your Scott Stapp is very similar.
They're all the same. They all sound the same.
They are all the same.
I will not make fun of you for it. I do understand it, considering it's also on your favorite movie list. And when I was kind of telling you about this, I said, hey, just include 5 soundtracks. Like, it's not hard. So I will give it to you and not make fun of you too bad. All right, Josh, I saved you for last due to the long conversations that we had about music playing a part in your life. So I am very interested to hear your top 5 albums.
Yeah, and this was incredibly difficult. I thought about this all week long, and when I put the list together, I found myself writing and rewriting it. And the basis of what I came up with essentially is all of these records, when I first heard them, filled me with something, some sort of emotion, and more so maybe than anything else. Brian, you saying Yellow Card means I get to take that off my list and put one of the things I cut back on, but still retain it. You also said Billy Joel, and I cut An Innocent Man, which was like a 1983 release. It was, I don't know, it was 9th or 10th record, but it was so much a part of my youth driving in my mother's car with an Innocent Man in the tape deck that I instantly, when I hear it, I'm in the back seat of my mother's car and we're on our way to school. So that's what music is for me. It's a time and a place and a smell and a feeling and an emotion. So these were incredibly difficult. I will preface that. The first thing on my list, and the first time I remember feeling like I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with all of this, was in 1992. I was 12 years old. It was The Chronic by Dr. Dre. I did not know what to do with all the emotion, with all the things it filled me with. The next time was probably Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, which is still on constant repeat in my sort of rotation. I love it so much, and it's got highs and lows that are just unbelievable. When I was 16, Alice in Chains Unplugged record got me through a very, very difficult time, and I cannot listen to Nutshell without being reduced to tears today, 21 years later. The next one is replacing Ocean Avenue by Yellowcard because it holds such a special place in my heart. But my senior year of high school, Brian, you talked a bit about when you were in like junior high, or maybe a little younger than that, Matchbox 20. Another band came out at the same time that I felt was just lyrically, musically superior and in every way, but hasn't done a ton since. Third Eye Blind's self-titled debut album changed the way I looked at music and how it could make you feel and how real lyrics could be and how deceptive music is in juxtaposition to the lyrics. So it was very interesting. And the number 5 on my list is Brand New's second album, Deja Entendu, which I still just... It fills me with so much emotion. I don't know what to do with. It's emotional. It's angry. It's violent. It's loving. It's got everything you'd want from sort of a Long Island emo band that nobody really knows, and it's amazing. So these were very hard for me, and I wish I could have put more hip hop or like I didn't include Tool at all, and they were very. No Pantera, no Pink Floyd, but these records, these 5, and I'm including Yellowcard and Billy Joel because you opened the door.
Because you're allowed. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Lawyered. And so these records meant more to me, and they still take me to a time and place, and I can smell and feel and taste things from when Billy Joel, I was 3 years old. And I still remember. I remember sitting on my uncle's shoulders, walking through the Italian festival parade thing in Hartford, listening to An Innocent Man on the loudspeakers. Like I'll never forget that shit.
Yeah, music always has the way to kind of transport you to a time, a moment, and a place, and it takes you to that exact second. It doesn't mess around. It's very similar to just, kind of almost like, having a nice home cooked meal or just kind of smelling something from your past. And it's incredible to share that with a lot of people. And as we say every week, this is 100% never a one-way conversation between just the three of us. We want to hear from you, the fans. I know it's hard to put it down to 5, but I would really challenge you. We'd love to get to know who's listening to our show just a little bit better. So if you're listening to this now, I would absolutely love it if you would take a couple minutes, put together 5 movies, put together 5 albums, send them to us in a tweet at That Kind of Nerd or on Facebook, or you can even call us and you can leave a voicemail and have your own story. Call 484-373-4119. You can also text that. If you're not sure what that number is, go to the show notes. And like I said, we're going to include an Apple Music playlist in there too, so you can listen to our music, get to know us a little bit better. But we want to hear from you, and we'll gladly put your music on there as well. I want to thank you guys so much for sharing these lists. It means the world to me that you went on this little exercise with me.
You made me feel things, CJ.
That's what we do some days. Listen, just sometimes it's good to kind of peel back the corner and kind of take away the nerdy facade. And again, for us, a nerd is a passion for anything. Josh's passion for music, your passion for music, for movies. It's not just tied to one thing. So I want to thank you, listener, for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. I cannot wait to get to know you a little bit better, and we will see you next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show. I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, cause you are that kind of nerd.
Not trying to steal somebody else's bit.
Well, then we have to cancel the show. The
I
whole
have
show. This whole show is stolen bits.
You're a bit.
If Christian's listening to this, he's laughing hysterically. Because that's what he calls his naughty parts.
Well, and CJ is most definitely a bit.
All right, well, let's do this. Welcome, everyone.
This is how we do it.
Now he brought out the Montel Jordan on you.
What does Brian from 2 days ago know? Psh, that guy.
Hold on. Just time out. True story. So sometimes Jenny and I will have dishes or the bottles to clean up, and we'll look at each other and be like, we should probably do that before we go to bed.
That's future.
That's
CJ's
future
problem.
CJ problems. That guy's a dick.
Right.
The next day, you're like, what a fucking asshole past CJ is, leaving us all this shit here.
Right.
Should have just done it last night. Past CJ's an asshole. Present CJ, only the good CJ. And right now, already, this guy, an asshole. He already, just missed it. All right.
Getting to know you. Getting to know everything about you.
Hurt my ear, and we can't pay for that. All right,
Getting to
since...
like you. Getting to know that you like me.